जी, मैंने ये पूछना था कि मुझे 30,000 रुपये चाहिए और ये मैं 3 महीने में वापस कर सकता हूँ, क्या ये पॉसिबल है?
Exaggerated, that's what you must. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Software. Receiver software.
After a couple of games. But Alter Ego, they've been consistent at the top, and as we already talked about Flash, they've been really good. And they did get that double chicken dinner back to back as well. No, that was impressive. They denied Alter Egos of their second chicken dinner in that second game up. But then the third matchup, it was just no competition. Flash was absolutely beautiful. Oh, Vikings, on the other hand, 25 total points. Skyforce, 24. Tianba, 23. Cellcom Digi Alliance, 21. RIQ, 21. IC has 20. Revo Gaming has 19 as well. 313 Esports, 18. E Arena on 17. Not a lot of difference between them, just 1-2 points here and there. But moving on further, that difference is going to be, ranking up for sure. And that 1-2 points could be the difference between you qualifying and you moving on to the last chance qualifiers.
Exactly, and as we were talking about the strategies, right? So this is the playoffs day too. So all these teams coming on hashtag 19 to 27, hashtag 9 to maybe 18, they need to change their strategies and they need to work on their self, right? And the coordination, they've been showing a precise coordination, but if I talk about particularly strategies, so they need to change something in them. But again, if you talk about hashtag 19 team YG, Vampire, MCS, and all these teams coming on hashtag 19 to 27, so they got to change something in them, and for surely they are going to do tabletop maybe, and they can win the tournament.
They probably can. You also need to understand that the one team is going to be fan favorite moving from the playoffs to directly to
Yeah.
to the grand finals, right? So that is something you need to remember. So one of these teams will be getting an easy way. I don't want to say, you know, an easy route, but kinda is. It basically are getting a free pass to the grand finals there. So yeah, I guess it. So yeah, I guess it's good to have fans, but that he's been dealing. He has been out of his mind yesterday, but I kind of want to see if the consistency is still there today. Moving on, day number 2. It's not easy to be as dominant as you are on the previous day.
I mean, yeah, and if you're going to talk about the top 5 players, right, or the MVP, I personally want to talk about Flash Win, right? That guy been so consistent throughout the whole day that he came top 5 MVP. I guess like we had 6 matches yesterday, he was there for 3 matches. That's somewhere around 50%, and that's a big number, right? So he did a fabulous job for Team Flash, and we can see his hard work paying off, right? His team is on #2nd, but I really want to see what the teams are going to do today, because that was history, whatever happened on day number 1. Now this is day number 2, and teams need to adapt accordingly, and they need to change their work. Let's just see what teams are going to do, and every team is prepared for each other.
For sure. We've already talked about it, these teams, they have already seen each other play. They're going to be strategizing, anti-strategizing as well coming in. Are they going to be playing different from day number 1? I don't think so. I mean, maybe a little, but not a drastic change is what I'm expecting. There's definitely going to be, the teams that are at the bottom trying to perform a bit better than they did last time. They also want to, accumulate as many points as possible. Moving on to day number 2, now we're closing in already on that last day. So you kind of want to make sure that you have enough points to qualify to the grand finals. If not the grand finals, at least have that momentum moving on to the last chance qualifiers, where you can once again have a chance to qualify to the grand finals using those points. I mean, if you're a fan favorite team, fine, sure, you will be, getting a free pass to the grand finals to two of the teams, actually, as a matter of fact. But if you're an underdog team, if you feel like there are other teams who have, let's say, more fans who could get more votes, so you probably are not going to be the ones making it through to the grand finals using that method. But you still have the OG method, the kill the point method, right? So you probably just want to maybe take it slow at the start, but then once you have all of your engines fired up, I think it's better to just get your A game. It's fine. Maybe not show all your cards, but go all guns firing for sure. Get as many points as possible pretty early into the day, and then you can chill as the day progresses.
Yeah, exactly. And let's just talk about maps, right? Why not? All the players are going to play there on the battleground. So I guess the first map and the first match we are going to see is on the map of Rondo, if I'm not wrong. And then we'll be having a look on Erangel and then Miramar, and the rotation will be simultaneous and the same. But again, if you talk about the map of Rondo, That's a very chaotic map. I need to say that as a caster, I need to speak a lot because we have the respawn system there. So teams are going berserk, right? Teams are going and taking fights in the start only because they know that they have the respawn system. So even they lose three players, one single player can go on the respawn point and respawn all of the three players. So that's advantage for the teams to go for that. And on the map of Ronda, they try to take as many as the finishes and eliminations points they can. And that's the great thing.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. You know, the recall system has kind of been the way to go, especially for most of these teams. In terms of them getting those extra finishes, extra points, maybe not placement points, but as you said, all the teams, they want to go and jump in, try to get as many kills as possible pretty early into the game. Even if you lose player or two, maybe even three, the one player survives. But that's the tricky part, right? You need to have one player surviving, collect the blue chip, and then go to that recall tower and go for the recall system. So that is something that sometimes could be scary, right? So yeah, that could be a strategy, but once again, the OG strategy is definitely going to be you playing it smart, getting as many kills as possible, not taking a lot of damage, making sure that you have your teammates ready for the backup, going for those trades, assaulter, sniper rifle, which we've not seen a lot. Actually, we did see a couple of long range M4A4 yesterday, but that's about it. I have still yet to see some really good sniper on sniper action, but it's not going to be the case yesterday. But maybe today we will have a different storyline. But moving on to Rondo, as we've talked about it, right? The map is very, let's say, at the start of the game at least, right? And when the drop class is happening, it feels a little congested. The teams are just going in, trying to go for those fights. Then there are also teams who are like, yeah, we don't care. We don't want those frags. We are okay with, position points. We are okay with moving on later into the game, maybe like 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, because that's your recall will be active for up until stage 6, if I'm not wrong. Stage 5, stage 6. So you still have a lot of time for that recall system to come in every 2.5 minutes. The fight comes in with your teammates. All you need to do is survive. And we've seen yesterday also Guerrero's Mono, the first game of the day, right? He was the only one surviving against IC. And then what happens? I mean, he not only takes IC down, he also recalls all of his teammates, and they not only do, do well, they actually get the chicken dinner in game number 1.
Exactly. I mean, as you were talking about, the storyline is different for every team every day, and that's what we are going to witness today as well. But again, that was all about Rondo, right? If we talk about Erangel, man, I have to say Erangel was so chronologically same that we saw two matches of Wrangle yesterday, and the zones were pretty same, right? Even the flight paths were pretty same. So I want to see something different, but Wrangle was chaotic, man. From the start, it was a little passive, and then if you are going to talk about the end of the Wrangle, both of the matches were so freaking chaotic, and that was so amazing to watch. But again, teams like Boom Esports and Flash took the right opportunity and striked on the right point and took the winner chicken dinner. I want to see teams doing the same thing today as well.
That is something we can expect. Similar kind of game styles, we were talking about it. But yeah, I mean, looking at the teams that we have today as well, I still feel that the teams that have shined yesterday, they have a really good chance of once again going through a similar kind of situation, shine well.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just speculation. What do you think? I mean, which team are you looking out for today? Because I feel like today maybe it's time for RIQ Ru to step up. I also feel like maybe Tianba has a really good chance here. But what about you?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm going to lean towards a little bit of Tianba because I saw a great performance by the side of them, and IC is also a great team. We need to look forward to that as well in our circles, aka. But again, I like to see the balance, right? I'm a person who likes to have a little bit of balance where I can see only 3-4 teams on the scoreboard just dominating all the other teams. I need to see other teams on hashtag 10, 11, 9 maybe just need to step up and give a great competition to the teams who are resting on the comfortable spot of top 3. So why not to see that great balance and competition coming up in these upcoming matches?
Yeah, true. I mean, as we were talking about IC as well, right? I mean,
Yeah.
yes, but here's the thing. between the two Pakistani teams there, IC and 313, I tend to lean a little towards 313 because, I mean, in a circle, I feel like, I mean, do not get me wrong, they're very good, but I still feel like 313 has that extra firing power that you need.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but between these two teams, right, I would prefer 313. But if you look at the overall groups, I would pick ASI 8 as my favorite Pakistani team out there because I feel like they have everything that you need. Good coordination, right? They have amazing firepower, and they also have individual brilliance. We've seen yesterday how ASI 8 at one point was just dominating the server. I mean, unfortunately, they were picked one by one, but up until that moment, everyone was individually getting as many frags as possible, dealing hefty amounts of damage in terms of weapons, in terms of utilities. So I feel like ASI 8 is going to be my team to watch. Probably today, one of the teams, of course, but I still feel like RIQ or Tianba might be the one taking away most number of points today. But as I said, any of these Pakistani teams, they also have a really good chance. But once again, do not take any of the Chinese teams lightly as well, right? Weibo Gaming especially. I mean, that strategy of high ground advantage, it's a good one, but I want to see if they have anything else under their sleeves.
Exactly, and this is map rotation for the day as well. It's the same like yesterday. We'll be having Rondo, Erangel, Miramar, and the repetitive series of Rondo, Erangel, Miramar again. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start with Rondo.
It's time for the flight path. Do we have a multi-flight path again, or will we be starting off with the just a basic single flight path here for today? I want to see how things go. It is just going to be a basic one, starting a little out of Heimei Town, ending towards Hungshan, and right between Tinglong Garden and Ringjiang. So there's just a lot of areas for you to drop. I mean, Minhu is gone. Stadium probably is a little far away. Bamboo. There's Lanpo as well that you probably will not be going, close to at the moment. But the MVPs there, you can see Vin, Mona, Rosemary, Alpha, and Sunshine. I mean, Vin is just on another level with 17, finishes. But everyone else, they are pretty much equal playground. And look at the overall rankings as well.
Exactly.
I don't see Yangon Galacticos showing up. So is this another one of those games where, once again, yesterday first game they didn't show up. Today also they didn't show up. But guess what? Guess which team is here this time? The Nepal Big Dogs are here. They're finally here. Fifth game and they finally decided to show up.
Exactly, they're here. And look at this. Again, this one's pretty much fine. But again, we can see all maybe taking a drop back fight. Exactly. Alter egos in the fight down scenarios where one of the players has been down and Snape have been finished, and that's an early casualty for them. That's not looking good, Edge.
Points is what they're trying to get as many as possible pretty early, but you kind of need to understand that confidence is also the key. And they're already just going for the play here. DRS, they're trying to get a couple kills here and there. 3-1-3, they're losing players left, right, and center. In the meanwhile, DRS trying to be a little safer here, trying to take the fight towards Thundertalk and Wine as well, if I'm not wrong. So, does he even spot someone? Because I don't see anyone here while he's trying to just use his iron sight. But in the meanwhile, the other teams with a lot of casualties already.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about, right? Oh man, that's a good spray. He's just barely 10 HP surviving. And there we have a good spray coming in from the side of Skyforce. And they'll be having 3 good finishes in their hands and 1 casualty. They can revive the person out there. And that's what I was talking about, is that early on fights on Rondo is really easy to take so far because we have that recall system, right? So yes, a chaotic map from the start as well.
Weibo Gaming, they get themselves another point. 3 points for the side of Skyforce already. E-Arena right now are putting the screws to those players on the side of Flash. They'll lose a player, but it's still not going to be the end of the game for them. Of course, they still have the recall, as we already mentioned about it. Weibo getting themselves frags here. E Arena now just going for that loot. Alba also trying to get as much loot as possible. They're in a good position right now, very safe in factory. They have everything that they need. They will get everything that they need if not. And Alter is another team who knows how to, deal with this kind of situation, especially in this map. They were the first team to get the chicken dinner yesterday in this tournament, in the playoffs, especially on stream. So do not take them lightly. And 3-1-3 coming in with only 3 players, they have already lost one. So it's a major disadvantage for them.
Exactly. One elimination points, although Electra has been down and only 2-1 survival, so they need to go so far and do the recall system in, or else they're going to have a big disadvantage as well. But again, Vion esports right now having 2 good eliminations points. So yeah, I guess teams have taken their early fight and drop classes. Now they're going to do some passive gameplay, maybe, if I'm not wrong. And if they have chance to take fight, surely they will.
True. Weapons, utilities, a lot of these things are ahead. Out of the circle, like very far away from the circle, but still the first circle, so it doesn't really matter. And Vikings as well, somewhere towards land power, they're very spread out as well. And I feel like there's one team somewhere close by. I'm not really sure which team it is that is kind of circling
ASI
them at the moment. Is it ASI it? It feels like it.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. So
man,
they have to be.
Yeah, ASI is taking fight to team Alter Egos as well, so they're literally so much spread. One of the players of ASI is here, just camping in a small compound, and if anyone is going to enter there, I can surely ensure that Team Viking is going to lose some of the players. But again, Alter Egos will be taking some of the fights, revival points done, one good elimination point into their hands, and I feel like they took some of the players of ASI, so they need to go for the respawn as well. 3-1-3 Electro. So again, there's a lot of fights happening on the map on the same point.
True. I mean, we have teams going aggressive, we have teams playing passive, we have teams that are, doing both at the same time. They're trying to be smart. And, well, a lot of things that can happen here on the map of Rondos. We've already talked about it. And now these compounds in Miran, they are going to be contesting DRS versus Voin. This could be a fight, but the M249 in the hands could be deadly. 3-1-3 in the compounds as well. So 3-1-3 could actually capitalize on this and maybe be the team coming out on top at the moment. DRS, on the other hand, grenades now being used. The S12K, those range is gonna be very hard to defend here in Fear.
Yeah, and STLK with the suppressor especially, that's deadly, right? Because the bullet spread is great then after that. But again, we'll be having TRS just trying to push on beyond, and for surely we'll be taking a fight there. Spotted the player out, and like guys, that's an amazing knockout there, and going for the finish. That's what I was talking about. It's SLK with that suppressor is deadly. And Solomon survivor of Beyond, and I guess he's also going to get picked off easily. And DRS will be having good 3 finishes into their pocket.
Pretty easy stuff. And just like that, the players are disoriented, and 3-1-3 is gone. The only surviving player, Lonely DS. How did he find him? He got him pretty easily, and Geek is also eliminated on the other hand. Skyforce, Sunchill it was, I believe, the MVP from game number 1. He is not only the MVP, he's also the Grenadier right now. He's gonna get, a kill for the team, a point, a very crucial one indeed. But not just that, Geek is gone, which means we're down to 14 teams now here in Inferno. 56 players once again back on their feet, because thanks to the recall system, of course. So a recall system is going to be used to its fullest, but some teams, once again, as I said, Geek, 3-1-3, they were unable to capitalize on this. They unfortunately lost everyone.
Exactly, I can see one more team. The name is Hale Esports versus Glue. So both of the teams are taking fights, and I want to see who is actually winning over there, because Hey Esports is on the tabletop on top 3, and you can see the multiple rotations happening on the same moment, so we can see multiple teams taking fights in rotations as well. And this zone is pretty much a very hard shift. You can see the northern side of the zone is right now really empty, so players can take spot there, but all of the teams are taking rotation at the same moment, Edge, so we can see a lot of chaos coming in real soon.
Definitely. As the game progresses, you know, we're about to hit that 10-minute mark. Things are going to be looking spicy for sure. And there's a lot of area that's pretty empty into the circle right now as well. Like the entire northwestern hemisphere is pretty much empty.
Yeah.
So the northern hemisphere, not exactly northwestern, but like northern hemisphere is pretty much empty. Teams like EA probably are going to be making their way in right now. One player, I believe, just has to make his way in. Alter Ego, in the meanwhile, they want to take down EA. One player is very far away. I'm not really sure why. Maybe they go for maybe he's a lurk, or maybe he's the info gatherer, maybe he's a scout, or maybe he's the one who's trying to survive and recall the team players. But you also need to be close to your team. So this is a very weird gameplay coming in. A game plan that I don't understand, at least, is what they're showing right now at the moment. Glue are going to be the happiest at the moment. They have the most perfect position on the map right now in the circle. They're Turnic finally retaliates and almost takes down Rosemary.
Exactly, and I'll totally agree with you. It's that Alter Ego right now is playing a different game from yesterday, because they were really aggressive if we talk about on day number 1, but on day number 2 they're having a different approach, and this approach will be fruitful for them or no. We are going to see that real quick, but again I can see a different game style coming in. But again, if you talk about right now, so Team Vion is having 5 finishes already. So the greatest number of finish point right as of now in the match on Rondo. But 56 players still remaining in 14 teams. We are having in the match Weibo taking fight against Team Flash. I want to see that fight.
Of course. They have to be careful. They're taking the fight against Weibo, but they also have another squad that is Flash in the vicinity who have taken down one of the players, and well, they're not stopping. They're not just knocking them down. They're confirming it as well. And look at the circle, as we've talked about it. The northern hemisphere was pretty much empty up until you actually came in for that rotation. They're already in right now. And moving in.
Skype have been down, and because we have seen Skyforce playing tremendous.
We definitely have high hopes moving into this game. Moving into today as a matter of fact. From a lot of teams here. Ooh, how does he survive this? Nick? There we go. I mean, of course, yeah, all those bullets, and you are definitely bound to hit with, bound to get hit with one at least. And on that part of the map, Skyforce are getting taken down. In Arena, they will lose one, but they will immediately retreat. Maybe go for that recall system right away. Probably get their teammate back, but 313 ASI 8 Geek. They're already out of the server here, and I mean, of course, there's Youngon, the Galacticos, who are also not in the server, unfortunately, at the moment. We're down to 51 players. 13-minute mark about to hit. DRS. Gotta be cautious here. Sakura, on the other part, from E Arena, is getting taken down. And a stage 3 circle now closing in as well. Look at the positioning coming in. Who is that one player? Who is that one player just above DRS? I can't really spot him out. You can.
13 minutes into the game, and now we'll be having our 14 teams, and then we'll be having a stage 4 as well. Let's just see which team is going to take this one. But again, Alter Egos, one of the players have been knocked out. This is the tabletop team right now, and they need to be really cautious because teams are looking forward to this team and for their eliminations as well. But again, MTN Viking Esports day number 1 was a pretty okay-ish game for them. But again, day number 2, high hopes from them as well. But TRS Killer Whitey will be taking fights again.